Hello and welcome to Mad About Sports. So, of course, we are back once again and we are here to talk about the latest addition into the Liverpool squad. It is none other than Cody Gakpo. Of course, Liverpool was the first one to make the move in the January transfer window when they called an acquisition the likes of Cody Gakpo. Because definitely Manchester United was also there in the race because Cody Gakpo has definitely lit up the European football, and also his performance in the World Cup was very impressive with the Dutch squad. Now, of course, we are here to talk about Cody Gakpo and understand how does he really fit into the Liverpool system. That's for sure. But now, if you look at Liverpool, they've been in going through a tough phase. They just lost to Brentford 3-1, and they've got a very bad update as Virgil van Dijk is also ruled out for many more weeks with a hamstring injury, and their top forwards are injured with the likes of Diogo Jota, Luis Diaz, Bobby Firmino. Everybody is sidelined. And I remember at the start of the season, even Sadio Mane made a move to Bayern Munich. So the bench strength when it comes to forwards are definitely lacking. And there was an occasion where Liverpool also had to start Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain as a left winger. So that's how bad Liverpool has been affected. And also with Darwin Núñez missing his scoring boots and his inability to finish goals, that's been a huge concern for Liverpool in this second half of the season after the World Cup. So, of course, when we talk about Cody Gakpo, he has been a very important welcome move when it comes to having him into the squad. Let's understand what he really brings into the squad and what is his tactical importance like in a squad like Liverpool. Of course, let's start off with his impact in passing. Now, when you talk about impact in passing, when it comes to the top European players, Cody Gakpo is up there when it comes to passes per 90. He's there in 27, and he's had a pass accuracy of close to 78. That's very decent when you compare him with the other wingers out there in Europe. You can understand definitely Martinelli is there very close to him alongside Rashford and Vinicius Junior, and also Luis Diaz, who's his compatriot in Liverpool squad, is way ahead as well when it comes to his passing accuracy and also passes per 90. He has got close to 35 passes per 90. Now, what is one thing when you talk about Cody Gakpo, right? Cody Gakpo is a player which is very similar to when you're comparing with someone like Rashford, and hence you can put that kind of a player profile when you bring in someone like a Cody Gakpo into your mind. Now, what is it about Cody Gakpo? Now, impact from crosses. Remember, in PSV, he plays a left winger, and there are occasions where he has to put in those crosses up there, and he links up. He had a very good link up play with Xavi Simons from the start of this season, from this season onwards. And there were occasions where Cody Gakpo drifts wide and pins in those crosses. And remember, Ruud van Nistelrooy is the coach of PSV, and when Ruud van Nistelrooy in Manchester United as well previously, he was known for his crossing ability as well. So that's where one thing which he has definitely improved on. And we talk about his crossing accuracy in percentage is close to 35 to 40 percentage, and that is very good in terms of in European standards, because he's competing with other players like Vinicius Junior, Mbappe, and Martinelli, and Luis Diaz and Rashford, who all plays in very similar positions as Cody Gakpo. And also crossing per 90 minutes is close to 2.5 for Cody Gakpo as well, which is a very interesting stat for Cody Gakpo to start off with. Hence, you can put in that player profile. Actually, he can drift wide. His passing ability is very decent. That's what he brings into the table. Now, what is his creative gameplay, right? Now, Cody Gakpo, if you notice this recent games for Netherlands as well, he was using number 10 for Netherlands. He was not using a left winger. When you talk about Cody Gakpo, he's got the physicality, he's got the pace, he's got the impact within the field where he can move upfield very quickly as well in terms of transitions. But if you had noticed the Netherlands game, he was playing as a number 10, number 8 at times, where he was playing through the middle. That's where his creative gameplay when it comes to his creative gameplay, if you have to talk about assists per 90 minutes, is right up there. He's 0.4 assists per 90 minutes. And his XA is also close to 0.45, which is very good. And that's where you talk about Cody Gakpo, the creative game player. When it comes to his compatriots, or when it comes to his competitors across Europe, he stands out because his creative gameplay, and he can also play through the middle. If Liverpool are facing a situation where they do not have a striker, where they want to push Darwin Núñez to the left hand side and maybe play Gakpo through the central region, that is a possibility. Or maybe they can play the Gakpo as a false nine, a very similar role which Bobby Firmino played in 2018, 19, 20 seasons, where he used to drop deep, collect the ball, and actually make Sadio Mane and Salah to really invert inside, come into the interior spaces. when it comes to Cody Gakpo, he's got a very, very similar trade. And that's one of the reasons why he can be used as a very good number nine or a false nine or a number 10 at times as well, if need be. Now, his efficiency in dribbles, there's an area which he has really struggled if you talk about it. Progressive runs per 90. It's on the lower side. It is comparatively when it talks about progressive dribbles per 90 is much much lower than players like Martinelli, Diaz, Mbappe, and Vinicius Junior. What is the reason behind it, right? We have to understand why is he just at two and why is his competitors way higher. Now, when you talk about Cody Gakpo, if you understand his gameplay, he does not have a trickery, maybe like a Mbappe. He does not have a trickery like a Vinicius Junior to cut in maybe uh, cut past two to three defenders. He can take on one-on-ones with a defender. He's got the pace, he's got the physicality to do it. But when it comes to the trickery, as a left winger, you always need an extra bit of edge when it comes to the trickery. And that's where Vinicius Junior is a standout in this. Vinicius Junior, we've seen that with Real Madrid, how he cuts inside, where he's able to dribble in with pace. Similarly with Mbappe as well. Mbappe, we've seen even in the World Cup or even for PSG as well. For PSG, he does not really start as a left winger because Neymar plays through that region. But whenever he plays as a left winger or whenever he starts as a left winger for France or even in games for PSG, he cuts inside pretty well. Similarly for Martinelli, but he's on a very similar profile with Rashford. You understand that. We understand that with Rashford as well. Rashford is also a player who's not elite when it comes to dribbling. He's also a player who likes to take on one. That's where he can be compared in terms of Rashford when it comes to his gameplay, his style, the way in which his movements are inside, his interior movements, the way in which he cuts in. Now let's talk about his aerial duels, right? That's a very interesting stat. Now, when you talk about all the other players, his aerial duels winning percentage is way higher. He's 141% of aerial duels, and that's primarily because of his height. When you talk about his compatriots, when you talk about Diaz, when you talk about Rashford, Martinelli, Mbappe, he's got the advantage of physicality, and even when it comes to Vinicius Junior as well. That's where maybe Liverpool will like him a lot more when it comes to him winning the second balls more often. An aspect which Klopp really likes to be incorporated into the Liverpool setup. That's where he's very, very, very interesting as well. Now let's talk about his forward passes per 90. This is a very interesting stat. We did speak about his creative gameplay. That's where he also stands out. When it comes to his forward passing, he's up there with Kylian Mbappe. His vertical passings are there with 6.55, and that makes him a very good creative player. As I already mentioned, his progressive gameplay can be used. Now, when it comes to him maybe playing even as a number eight, once Luis Diaz returns, once Diego Jota returns, he can be used as a number 10. The way in which Liverpool would want to deploy a new kind of a system. Understand at this point, Liverpool's midfield is a huge concern. You saw in the game against Leicester City how their midfield was unable to control. Liverpool did get the two own goals, which helped them to get those 3 points there. And against Brentford, it was absolutely chaotic for them through the central region. And that is where Liverpool is going to really, really suffer now going ahead. And if need be, someone to slow the game down likely because he's got the ability, though he's predominantly a left winger. If Klopp wants to integrate a new system where he wants to play Gakpo at number 8, number 10, that can also be done. He can also be used as a free roaming player, which can be a very interesting setup in the Liverpool team. At this point, Liverpool is a very system based team. Now let's look at his stats, right? He has been in fantastic form when it comes to the way in which he's been scoring goals. He's had 14 appearances in the Eredivisie. He scored close to 9 goals there. He scored eight. He's had 8 assists in terms of Eredivisie, and in Europa League as well. He scored 3 goals and he's given 2 assists. In Champions League, he's just had very few appearances. He's given 1 assist. That's very, 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 very earlier. But World Cup, he had a fantastic World Cup there as well. Where he scored 3 goals and he had a very positive impact for the Dutch team. That's why we talk about Cody Gakpo. Now let's watch some visuals to really understand what he really brings into the table. Now we've already marked where Cody Gakpo is. As you see, the spotlight is on Cody Gakpo. This is on defensive play. He comes into his own box when it comes to recovery. He does the defensive work very well. A very, very vital part of Liverpool's system. What does Klopp like? Klopp likes players who do well off the ball. Definitely, on the ball job is a very important factor in football. But now in modern football, off the ball work rate is equally important or even more important than on the ball work. And that's where Cody Gakpo gives that edge into the Liverpool system. He's a very good presser of the ball. He can do the defensive duties for you, recover the ball. Now, what is another thing which comes to Cody Gakpo? Spatial awareness. When it comes to Cody Gakpo, he understands spaces very well. When it comes to his progressive passing, when it comes to him making those in behind runs, cutting into the interiors, he is very, very, very good when it comes to spatial awareness. He has got that physicality, he's got the slight bit of pace as well, which makes him to bombard front and test the defensive lines time and time again. And he's also very good when it comes to getting past the offside traps. He is very aware of where the spaces are, when to make those runs, which will make him a very, very important factor for Mohamed Salah, Henderson, to especially tie up with, and Thiago as well. Thiago will love to have a player like him, because you already saw that with the Dutch team as well. Player like Frankie de Jong, the link up which he had with Cody Gakpo, in terms of Cody Gakpo making those forward runs. And on the left hand side, he will also be having somebody like Andy Robertson there. So Andy Robertson making those overlapping runs, and Cody Gakpo cutting inside the interior. This is going to be a very, very important facet for the Liverpool side now going ahead. Now that, as I said, is a very important factor. But now when it comes to tactical awareness, we talk about Cody Gakpo and we understand that he is a player who's got the physicality. Definitely, he's got that. But how much is he using those physicality? Right? Is his understanding of the game when it comes to him making those forward passes is very essential over here. You can understand now we have marked him there. Cody Gakpo is right there in the position where the arrow is there on the left hand side, and the way in which he can put those balls in, his through balls have was very, very, very effective for PSV. If you understand, in this season, even the last season as well, there's one other aspect which Cody Gakpo brings into the system. And you understand, Cody Gakpo is going to be a very, very vital player. To get the service of Cody Gakpo, there were elite European teams for a reason. And here, once again, he is a hot, hot cake in the market. And it's going to be very interesting to see how Liverpool is going to deploy him, and how Liverpool is going to really have better services with Cody Gakpo. Now, when you talk about Cody Gakpo, there's another thing also about Cody Gakpo, right? Cody Gakpo's heat map. Where does he operate mostly? Is he a player who's more central region? You can understand the way in which he cuts in, and the way in which his predominant foot, especially the predominant way in which he plays, he is a left winger, and he will enjoy playing as a left winger. And as I already mentioned, you can compare him very similar to Rashford. He's got a very similar player profile. He can play as a left winger. His dribbling skills are far inferior, but when it comes to him trying to play through central region as well, he can be a creative player as well. Because you already see in the World Cup how much of an impact he can make, especially playing through the central region. He can link up play, and that'll also make someone like a Mohamed Salah to get involved in the game a lot more, because he'll try to link up play with Mohamed Salah where he can drop, because his defensive ability is also right up there. Now, this is going to be very interesting to see how things go forward for Liverpool. Um, as I mentioned, it's a very interesting second half of the season for Liverpool FC. It's going to be interesting to see where they end up on the table. Can they qualify for the top four? That is a very important question they will have to answer. They have a very important round of 16 clash against Real Madrid. The final is who they faced in the last season's Champions League. So for them, it's going to be important to get the players back to fitness, like so Luis Diaz, like so Diego Jota, Bobby Firmino, alongside now Cody Gakpo, who's going to be a very vital facet to that system. Now that's where things are going to possibly change around for the Liverpool team. And if Cody Gakpo can make an impact for them, either it's going to be on the left wing or maybe playing through the central region, that's going to be very vital for them as they move ahead into the season. And before we end the video, do not forget to check out our courses, because if you want to be a cricket analyst, we are doing workshops on cricket analytics. And you can, if you're an aspiring cricket analyst who want to work for IPL teams, who wants to really live a dream of actually knowing the numbers, knowing the stats, you can check out our workshops as well. The link is there in the description. And also, do not forget to subscribe to our channel, and also to share this video, so that we can keep bringing you more of these tactical understanding of every player and how does he fit into the systems. Have a good day, all of you. Take care. Bye bye.